Hello, friends. Today we will have the unusual conversation. We will talk with a young Philippe. He is a student from, I'll try to say it correct, Sorian Windesheim University of Applied Science in Zwolle, the Netherlands. Jan Philippe, student, journalism student with background in Germany and Netherlands. I hope this dialogue will be very interesting for our viewers, for our subscribers, because we have a lot of different types of political dialogues in Ukraine, but we not often have possibility to talk with European youth. And of course, the future belongs to youth. And we should talk with youth to understand what they thinking about, how they accept the situation around Ukraine, around the invasion of Russian Federation to Ukraine, how are they seeing the future of Ukraine in Europe. So thank you a lot, Jan Philippe, for such possibility, such dialogue. For people who don't understand English in Ukraine, I call to please turn on the subtitles for better understanding what we are talking about. And the first question for me to Philippian, what is the general mood of youth in Europe Union and the whole Netherlands especially?
I think the youth at the moment is very devastated and angry, but also frustrated. When I talk with my friends about current situations, the war in Ukraine is a huge topic, and also a lot of people are fearing of a third world war. That's my personal experience, which I have made in the last couple of weeks, and yes, it's a huge topic.
Are you scared?
Me personally,
yes. I mean, use of yes. People around you, your co-students, your roommates, something like this.
In first instance, the youth, I would say, is shocked about the events, but I don't know if they are really feared, if they are scared of the situation.
Is it true, Philip, that many businesses are going out from Europe to the United States, Canada, and other countries?
Yes, that's true. Also, Shell has withdrawn from Russia, as far as I know. A lot of companies have withdrawn from Russia, and for me personally, I believe
I'm not talking about Russia. I'm talking about Europe Union. For example, I have a friend from Germany. And he said that many businesses from Germany, from Berlin, go out to the United States because they are afraid, these businesses afraid that war will come to Europe Union lands. And do you feel in Holland such trend or not?
I haven't read about that, to be honest. I didn't read about companies which leave Europe. But,
how is about the job perspectives for European youth now?
The job perspective regarding the war in Russia.
Are there in Europe more job opportunities now or less? How do you feel for how the students feel through their future perspectives? The possibility for employee became employee in the future.
I don't have an exact answer on that. I don't think that at this point, at this stage of the war really affects our employment in Europe, of at least the employment of the youth. So I don't know how to answer that question.
Okay, okay, thank you. How does the Russian invasion affect the standard of living in Holland and Europe? Do you feel something better or worse situation in the standard of living in Europe?
Yes, the prices for gas and energy products were already high before the start of the war, but at this stage, the prices have been raised because we are also searching for alternatives. For example, LNG gas from America or from Qatar. And for sure, this has an impact on the market, on the energy market.
And do you spend more money for the heating or for the food?
Yes.
How you feel, or maybe you spend more money for the different type of privileges and other expenditures. Of course, we understand what is youth is doing outside of study. We are taking a lot of different type of relax. We go to the clubs and so on. Excuse me. How do you feel this situation? It's just interesting for Ukrainian audience because we have not good. it's very polite words. Social economical situation in our country.
Yes.
And we are interested in what do you feel from your point the situation in Europe for youth.
Yes, at the moment I don't spend a lot of money for activities in my free time. That's especially because I'm not going out at the moment very much. The last time that I went out was before COVID. So at the moment, do
you live with parents or something like this or no?
Sometimes. Upcoming Friday is my birthday, so at Friday I want to go out and have a drink, but it's not. It's not that I would go out every weekend or something like that.
Okay. How did the Russian invasion affect the education in science in Holland? I mean that choosing the topics of research, the culture of political dialogue, and so on. Does the European Holland educational system and scientific field were changed under this situation?
In my personal experience, for some extent, because for sure it's also a huge topic in our university, especially in the first 2 weeks after the invasion. We had a lesson, and in this lesson was also shown an article from a Dutch newspaper about the war. We talked, as you know, I'm studying journalism, and a lot of the lesson is focused on the right way to transport certain emotions via articles. And in one of the lessons, there was shown an article as example of how those emotions can be transported, because it was very urgent in this a very good example at this moment. It was about, the article was about Dutch Ukrainian guy who went back to Ukraine to fight, and who explained his situation and his reasons to go back.
Do you have in your university students from Ukraine and from Russia?
Not as far as I know. I'm not in direct contact to people with a Ukrainian or Russian background at my university.
Is there any conflict on the dialogue on the Russian invasion to Ukraine in your university, in their conflict dialogues, something like this?
You mean that people choose the side of Russia basically not. No. Everybody's from my experience, everybody's standing at the side of Ukraine. Yes,
it's great.
Yes.
But we know that in Holland, also in Germany, there are many people who weren't accepted Ukraine like a part of European Union. You have also even a referendum a few years
in Holland,
ago.
Yes, in Holland, yes.
But in Germany, social research shows us that more than 30% of people are not supported Ukraine. Is there any dialogue inside the society between different parts of this society?
I wouldn't call it a dialogue, but what you see is that under a lot of postings on Facebook of German newspapers, there are a lot of people who are basically, I don't know how to say, who are against heavy weapons for Ukraine from Germany, because they believe that it would result in a longer war. That's a narrative that you hear that you hear very much from this side. But also in Holland, you see that a lot of people. I don't know if it's correct to call it a lot of people, but there are people who are calling Zelensky a bad man and who are claiming that that the West is at fault and the West is the responsible the responsible party of for the war.
Why they are saying such things?
Yeah, that's a good question. In my belief, and it's because Russian propaganda in the West, because in Germany, but also in Holland, especially in Holland, we have right-wing parties that are expected to be heavily influenced by Russia, like Forum for Democracy in Holland, who was also the main responsible behind the referendum which you mentioned. And the people who are supporting those parties are also mainly the ones who are supporting Russia in this war.
Maybe people just scared because of war. Maybe they are scared that war should come to the Holland. If the Holland will be a part of such a pro-Ukrainian part in this conflict. What do you think?
If the people are scared.
Yeah, I think maybe people just talking about this not only because of Russian propaganda,
yes,
but only because they are scared that they don't want to be a part of conflict.
Am I right? That's also something that you read very often in Holland, that if we are sending weapons to Ukraine or if we are imposing another sanction, we will be at war with Russia also. That's also a narrative which you that you read very often.
Of course, European Union and Ukraine made a lot of mistakes. With dialogue with Russia also, but it's not a reason for invasion.
No,
in any case,
for sure not.
We made a lot of mistakes in Ukraine, especially in internal policy, in human rights policy. We made a lot of mistakes, but this is not be a reason. It can be a reason for any invasion on the sovereign country which Ukrainian is.
Yes.
Of course. How correct for your mind? How correct is the policy of Dutch government regarding the Ukrainian-Russian war?
It's difficult to give an answer on that because a couple of days the Dutch government has announced that they want to replace the Russian gas with, for example, LNG gas from America by the end of the year, which is the correct signal for me, because at the moment what we are doing basically is we are fighting the war against Ukraine by paying Russia for our energy products. So it's the correct signal to replace the Russian gas as soon as it is possible, as fast as it is possible. But on the other hand, the Netherlands have also announced that they want to seizure the money of rich Russian oligarchs, which are living in the Netherlands or in Europe. And as far as I have read, this has happened not enough, to an extent which is not enough. If you can compare it to Switzerland, Switzerland has seized a lot more money than the Dutch government, but also than the German government. And there are also rumors. I can't confirm those rumors, but there are rumors that there are still Dutch ships from Rotterdam which are going to Russia. I don't know if it's true, but I have heard about that. I don't know if you also heard about that.
I have heard about it, but we are not able to check this information.
Yes, it's. I don't want to give false information, so it's.
Do you support sending Dutch troops to protect Ukraine?
Yes, 100%.
How many such people do you think in Dutch society, like you?
That's also a question which is difficult to answer. I personally believe that a lot of Dutch people are not agreeing with me on that point, because they are fearing of being at war with Russia.
How do you think Dutch government does Dutch government do enough with military supply to Ukraine? Because Ukraine asked different armor equipment, shells, artillery, aircrafts, many things which Ukraine needs to defend from Russia.
Yes, I have read that the Dutch government is sending heavy weapon to Ukraine. It was a couple of days ago that I read about that. But I don't know if it's enough. I'm not a military expert for sure. So for me, this question is difficult to answer. Regarding the situation in Germany, because I'm half Dutch and half German, and I'm living a huge part of the year still in Germany. Regarding the situation in Germany, I would say that it's a disgrace how the German government is acting, because our German Chancellor Scholz is still I don't find the correct English word. He's still waiting to send heavy weapons to Ukraine. I read this morning. I read that Germany is sending tanks to Ukraine, which is a positive signal. But I don't know if it's enough.
Okay, how do you, general question, how do you see the future of Ukraine, of Russia, and the European Union after the war?
Yes, me personally, I would love to see Ukraine joining the European Union after the war. Because for me, I don't know how to say. It's also positive for the Ukrainian economy and for Ukrainian freedom if they join the European Union. My personal expectation of my personal fear, and I have to state that I'm not a political scientist or something like that, but my personal fear is that a lot of Ukrainian people will be disappointed in the European Union after the war regarding because of the way that the European Union and countries like Germany are acting at the moment. That's my fear is that any conversation with between Ukraine and Russia will be finished after the war, but also between the European Union and Ukraine, because the European Union is not supporting Ukraine enough at the moment.
What about Russia after the war? Russia, European Union, cooperation, dialogue.
Difficult.
Easy question is not necessary for our dialogue. It's for the easy questions.
In my opinion, it fully depends on the situation inside Russia after the war. Because if Putin is done after the war, and if democracy is brought to Russia, maybe it's a different story. Maybe there can be cooperation between the European Union and Russia after the war if democracy is brought to Russia. But in my opinion, it fully depends on the situation inside of Russia. If Putin is still in power after the war, it will be a different story. But I don't believe that he will be in power after the war. The war can end in two ways. On the one hand, with the defeat of Ukraine, which I absolutely don't hope, or with the end of Russia, with the end of Putin. That's also the narrative which has been drawn in Germany by military experts and political commentators. I don't know if you agree with me on that point.
I think we have more ways for finishing this war, and a few days ago I saw the big interview of American political consultant Neil Ferguson, who is one of the most famous American political consultants, and he said one thing which I share with him absolutely. He said that if Russia will be losing this war, she will be very close for using the nuclear weapon. We will take the big dangers of nuclear weapon. So, of course, the Putin is the core of this conflict, and no Putin knows this conflict, knows this problem. But yes. I think taking account in the Russian society researchers support of Putin more than 80% in Russian society for today. I think we have also ways for peace agreements for ending this war. We have also different peace agreements. There should be many types and ways how to obtain these peace agreements. We have also possibility to growing up with the role of the global states like United States, of China, for resolution of this conflict also. And also there should be such resolution which we had in Donbass 8 years ago, the temporary peace agreement for the years, for the waiting, the change in the situation, political in Russia, for example. So I see many ways for stopping this war. But you are right that the ways for resolution this war, not so much, 2 or 3 ways, not more. And of course, we are like Ukrainians. We are hoping for peace, but at the same time, we are not going to be defeated. We are not going to. We are standing up for our countries, for our country. You should also something say for Ukrainians. Something wish for Ukrainians, if you want. Maybe I haven't asked something from you. You feel free to say something more.
Yes, right from the start of the war, which was for sure very devastating also for me, I found it very inspiring how you people are defending your country. It's very, very inspiring. And I believe that the Ukrainian people have won the hearts of millions of people around the world. And I believe that the whole free world is standing with Ukraine.
Okay, thank you a lot, Jan Philippe, journalism student from Holland. Thank you for this dialogue. Stay with contact. I think peace and freedom will win in any case. Thank you. See you next time.
Yes, I hope that my answers were useful.
I'm sure you. Thank you. Thank you.
Despite my bad English at some points.
Me too. Thank you.